Welcome, welcome, welcome to Straight Talk with Shelia. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your commitment in meeting me here on a weekly basis. Today, I want to share with you, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be teaching. You can see my cards. I have some notes here that I'm going to be referring to. I had the privilege of having some great conversations this week, so it sparked an idea for this topic. Our topic today is the power for right thinking, the power of right thinking. Yeah, it's important that we have the right thinking. I don't know if you can remember, I'm going to be dating myself here, but there was a commercial on TV many years ago. I think it started back in 1972, and there was a commercial that encouraged African Americans to participate in higher learning, to become better, to get their doctorate and or their masters, or just go to college, really, just really go to college. And the PSA says the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And that's where I want to focus today. It's about your thoughts and your thinking and the mind. It is so important that we have the right thoughts. One of the things that I have learned over my years, all my years of being on this earth, is that the mind will give you an answer to anything you ask. So it's important that we ask the right questions. Because if you don't ask the right questions, you will get the wrong answers. But if you ask the right question, you put your mind to work. Your mind is the central tower of your life. So it's important what we put in there. We have to make sure we guard the avenues of our mind, our eyes and our ears, what we listen to, what we watch. It is so important what we expose our minds to. So before I get too deep into what I want to say, I want to remind you I have 3 questions that I want you to ask, and I want to ask you to type your responses in the comments, just so that I can see what you're thinking and I can see if we're on the same page. So the first question is, what are you thinking? Yes, I want to know what you're thinking. What are you thinking? That's the first question. The second question, where will the thoughts I'm thinking lead me? Where will the thoughts I'm thinking lead me? Because these are questions that I'm going to answer throughout our time together today. And the next question, are my thoughts taking me where I want to go? It is so important that we know what our thoughts are, if our thoughts are leading us down the right path, and what are the outcomes that we want? What do we expect to get out of what we're thinking? I want to bring something to your mind. The clothes that I'm wearing, the clothes that you're wearing, started with a thought. Yes. The car that you're driving started with a thought. So it's important for you to put down on the inside of you the right things, because whatever you put in, that's what's going to come out. So let's answer some of these questions. The question that I want to ask you right now, and you may have been pondering it, am I enough? I want to say to you, that's the wrong question to ask. Why? Because your mind will answer that, possibly with a negative response or maybe a positive response. But to get the best out of the right question, these are the correct question you should ask around the idea of being enough. The first one is, show me how I'm enough. If you tell your mind to show you how you're enough, you're putting your mind to work, and your mind is going to dig deep and search all over to find you the right answers. The next question that you can ask yourself around being enough is, what ways am I enough? And your mind will search for that. I want you to type in the comment section. If you think you're enough, tell me how. Tell me how. And if you don't think you're enough, I want you to tell me, what ways do you think you can be enough, or that you will become enough? Write it down, because writing is therapeutic. If you write things down, it starts to make more sense. Another question is, Am I healthy? Uh-uh. Wrong question. Wrong question to ask. This is how I'm helping you to retrain your brain and asking yourself the right questions. Because if you ask the right questions, you will get the right answer. So asking yourself, am I healthy? I would say don't ask that. Here is what I would suggest that you ask yourself. The first one, what are some healthy behaviors that I have? Or what are some healthy habits that I have? Yes. When you ask yourself those questions, you will get positive, powerful answers. Another question you can ask, what are some healthy things that I have done today or maybe this week? And your mind will give you the right answers to those questions. If you know anybody that is struggling with questions, asking themselves the right questions and getting the right answers and really focusing on the right thoughts, I want you to put me on pause right now and like and share this video because they need to understand the power of thoughts and they need the right thinking. I came across this quote the other day, and it's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And it's so powerful, and I want to share it with you. And I hope that you can take it and use it and focus upon it today, tomorrow, next week, next year, because it's so powerful. And it goes like this: sow a thought, you reap an action. Is there an action that you need to reap? You've got to make sure you have the right thought. And it goes on. Sow an action, you reap a habit. Sow a habit, you reap a character. Sow a character, and you reap your destiny. What destiny that you want to experience? What character do you want to have? What habits do you want to experience? If you want to experience a tangible action and a habit that is life-changing and character that is phenomenal, you have to ask yourself the right question, and it all starts with the right thought. Sow a thought, you reap an action. It is so important that we put down on the inside of us the right thing. In scriptures it says we must take every thought captive. You might be wondering, what does that mean anyway? When you take your thoughts captive, we're all bombarded by negative thoughts all the time. There's always something coming in to counteract the good things that we're thinking. But when those negative thoughts come, you take it captive by responding to that negative thought with a positive answer. You may be experiencing something in your team, at work, or in your family. There may be somebody that you just can't stand and they just get on your nerve. And I say to you, press pause. Yes, press pause. And ask yourself, is there one thing in that person that I like? Is there a behavior? Is there an action? Is there something in this person that I can compliment them on, that I could focus on and take my mind away from the negative behavior? We have to be intentional about what we put in our thoughts. Remember, your thoughts, your mind is the central tower of your life. You've got to answer the question about what you're thinking. You've got to make sure what you're thinking is leading you to the right place. You have to make sure that the thoughts that you have are beneficial to you. The other thing that I want you to look at is to make sure that you are guarding your mind. And the way you guard it is by being careful what you listen to, what you expose your eyes to, what you expose your ears to. Because if you want to go in a certain direction, you've got to make sure that everything, your steps, your plans, your goal is heading in that direction. Remember, my topic is the power of right thinking. So if you want to think right, you've got to counter the negative thoughts that you have. Like and share this video. Follow me on YouTube at Look Within You or on Instagram, Look Within You. I am your coach. I am your sister, pointing you to the right thought that I know that is deep down inside of you. If you didn't start your day off with a right thought, I want to ask you to do that now. You can press reset anytime. You can fix your thoughts anytime. You have the power over the negative thoughts that come in your head. I had an experience this week with two young ladies. One of them is a teenager and the other one is in her mid-30s. And the teenager was having some struggles with her thought process. So I was able to help her with some ideas and suggestions. And I asked her, what are those one words, powerful one words that you think of yourself? And for a minute, she took a moment. And I gave her some examples. And I said, even though you may not be feeling that right now, where do you see yourself? What are those things you want to see in your life? What are those things you want to experience? And she said, I want to be amazing. I want to be bold. I want to be brave. I said, yes, keep saying that, because when you speak it out loud, you hear it and it connects with your heart. So it's important what you say to yourself. And the other young lady who's in her 30s, she reached out to me because she's trying to make a shift in her life. And she was having some conversation, a reflective moment, and she's realizing that she's not exactly where she would like to be. And she's a little bit disappointed, and a lot of negative thoughts started coming. And we developed a strategy in our session. I started a coaching session with her. And I helped her with some steps to start thinking about herself and some of the questions that I mentioned here earlier when I said that you have to ask yourself the right question. For example, if you're feeling like you're not enough, is what are the ways I'm enough? I asked her to ask herself these questions. And within 3 days, by Wednesday of last week, she was raving about the shift that she was having. From week to week, I come here before you to remind you of the treasures and the power that you have within you. And you hear me say, I am your coach, and I am. And you hear me say, I am your sister, and I am. I'm here to help you have the right thoughts. I'm here to help you have the right perspective in how you're thinking. Because what you put in is what you get. I am your coach. I am your sister, pointing light to the treasure that I know is deep down inside of you. Practice the right thinking so you can get the right results in your life. Have a great day, and may God bless you. Bye-bye.